What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the idea of learning to enjoy tension, learning to love tension, learning to step into tension in your life. Now, one thing that I found when I was working with Fearless was that it gave me the confidence to take more risks. It gave me the confidence to say yes to some things I would have been way too scared to say yes to previously. And as a result, I learned so much by being on the other side of tension that I now know that there's no reason to shy away from tension. And actually, if you want to have the best life possible for yourself, and you want to actually have the things that you say you want, you need to step into tension or get it. So let's talk about tension in this video. But actually, before we do that, let's specifically talk about modern men, right? Let's talk about the average guy today, right? So we'll do today's average guy. Okay. Now, when we look at today's average guy or today's average man, there's an avoidance of tension in their lives, right? They avoid tension, they avoid conflict. There are a lot of nice guys. They're basically seeking comfort and security more than they're seeking going for their dreams, setting big goals, taking risks, risking it all. They kind of put all that stuff on the back burner as a maybe a fear of not being able to accomplish it, or the fear of dealing with the conflict that actually comes with it. So let's talk about it, right? So we're talking about avoid tension, avoid conflict, and we can say they put their deepest desires on the back burner, right? Deepest desires on back burner. All right, excuse my writing, man. This is kind of terrible, but we're gonna make do. Okay. So they put their deepest desires on the back burner, and I see this a lot with clients that come and do workshops with me, especially when it comes to dating and women. They don't think they can have what it is that this idea that they hold in their head. Like, they want to be dating 2 or 3 girls at one time. They want to be playing the field. They want to be exploring. They want to be having more fun. They want more sex in their lives, but they can't actually see themselves having it as much as it sounds good to them. So naturally, because they don't believe it, they would never take a step towards the tension that you need to take in order to accomplish that, right? They'll actually kind of stuff those desires in the back of their mind. And usually when I hop on a sales call with a guy and I'm trying to find out his deepest desires, a lot of the times he's just so scared or very unaware of what his actual deepest desires are, that it takes a while for him to actually be very honest with himself. And when he becomes very honest with himself, then we can actually move forward. But until he gets very honest with himself, it's really hard to help him move in any direction to get any kind of results, because the beginning of it all is you being honest with yourself and saying, like, this is what I want. This is what I've always wanted my whole life. I don't have it. I'm trying to get it. I really want to see this particular goal or dream fulfilled. And then there's a huge amount of tension in that, to actually be able to have to look at that head on and accept where you are, and accept possibly maybe how far you are from having that goal. So again, looking at today's average guy, they avoid tension, they avoid conflict, they put their deepest desires on the back burner, and what they chase and seek is safety and security, right? Everybody's trying to find a job with a steady paycheck, which is nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But truthfully, I think when most men see other men out there getting it, right? They're getting the women, they have the success, right? Maybe their goals are not monetary, they're not money goals, but they see these people out there who are basically going for it, right? They're in the gym, they got all these motivational videos on YouTube, and you see that stuff, and there's a part of you that kind of innately, as a male, wants to be on his grind, getting that stuff done. But The truth is, right, what we're seeking right now in the present moment is always safety and security, and that's actually the opposite of safety and security when you think about it, okay? So let's go ahead and look at men who absolutely love stepping into tension. So let's look at this. Men who love tension. Okay. Now, I'm going to put a couple names on this board, and I know some of them, or some of these names are going to rattle your cage, and that's okay. But I'm just looking at the person as a whole, right? Now, if you look at people who love stepping into tension, you'll get certain people like Elon Musk. Okay. Look at Elon Musk. Just look at how forward thinking he is. But not only forward thinking, he's forward action taking. Meaning that he is always on to the next thing, constantly. Very decisive, right? Really great at being decisive. So that's another major quality of somebody who loves tension. Decisive, makes decisions fast. Think about the whole Twitter thing, right? He bought Twitter, fired a bunch of people, changed the name of Twitter, turned it to X. Sure, maybe it didn't work out in the long term the way he planned it to, but still his decision-making skills are so powerful and so strong that it's made him who he is today. It's made him a multimillionaire today, right? Think about that. He sold PayPal. Obviously Tesla, right? SpaceX, sending rockets into space. Like very quickly, if you really think about the time frame of all that, right? It's only been like a few years and he's done a whole lot. So he's a guy who really exhibits a love for tension. Another great guy, sorry. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger, no matter what you think about him, he's another guy who loves tension. You can even look at it, right? He loves a lot of physical tension. Like, look at his body. Go watch that documentary, Pumping Iron. He's so good with tension that if you think about it, he became a millionaire before he was even a lead actor in any of the roles that we've seen, right? This is before Terminator. This is before a lot of movies that we had seen him in, honestly. And this is a guy who's always moving forward. So there is no surprise that this guy became the governor of California, right? It's not an accident. He actually moves towards tension, makes decisions, follows through with what he says he's going to follow through with, sees it to fruition, right? Another great guy. Whether you like it or not, Andrew Tate, another guy. Andrew Tate loves tension, right? You can see it in all his videos, right? Loves shaking the cage, loves rattling the cage. He's got a very positive message behind what he says, and sometimes he says things that kind of throw people off a little bit, right? And it's kind of just who he is. But when you think about it in totality, he faces a lot of adversity on a daily basis. From the media, from the internet, obviously from the law. And he handles it so well that it's got people turning from not liking him to loving him. No coincidence that he's also a multimillionaire, right? And again, this is not a monetary thing, but in order to live a lifestyle like that, you have to learn to step into a lot of tension. You don't accidentally become a multimillionaire. You do it because you step up and you face adversity every single day, right? And he's really good at that, him and his brother, Tristan. Who's another great guy? Brian likes to bring up Richard Branson, which is another great guy. Richard Branson, right? Brilliant guy, very vulnerable, but also can handle massive tension. I mean, we're talking about Virgin Records. We're talking about Virgin Airlines, right? We're talking about a whole lot of stuff with this particular dude who is an action taker, right? Brian tells a story about him in his book where he talks about how he wanted to go see this island that was for sale, and he didn't have the money. But the people who were showing the island, what they were doing was they were flying people out to the island to go see it, right? So anyways, he didn't have any money, but he made this whole thing as if he had money to get a flight out there to go see the land that he wanted to buy. And I think they ended up finding out that he didn't have the money. I don't know if they stranded him on the island or not, but just that alone takes a lot of balls, right? To hop on a to hop on a helicopter or plane, claim that you have this money to get over there to go see this thing that you don't have the money to afford. Just to do that takes a lot of balls, right? The average guy would be like, no, what happens if they find out I don't have the money, right? I'm going to get stranded, blah, blah, blah. They're so worried about that stuff. These people are not. They're just taking leaps and bounds, and life is just really turning out well for him, right? There's no surprise, again, that he lives on the island that he went to go see. Another guy, again, Donald Trump. Loves tension, right? You see him all over the news, all over the media. So many people hate Donald Trump, right? And I'm not saying whether I hate him or I love him. I'm just saying that so many people have opinions about this guy. But I would say definitely he is the master of tension, right? Gets people riled up, has the whole world for 4 years just hating his complete guts. And then all of a sudden people are starting to change their way they look at him, right? Because they're starting to see the truth of it, that he's really good at what he does, right? And not only is he good at what he does, he's good in a whole lot of other areas as well, right? Again, not another coincidence that he's making a whole lot of money. So I'll show you all this stuff to tell you this. In order to have the life that you actually truly want, you have to step into tension. You have to say yes to things that you're not comfortable saying yes to. You have to have a vision for yourself of what you actually want. I'll give you a story, man. I've got so many tension stories that come from working with Brian. So I'll tell you this story, right? The story about when I quit my job. Now, I was working at the library for 10 years. It was a good job. It was very secure. I had insurance, I had benefits, retirement, all that stuff, right? But after doing some work with Brian, I realized that I wasn't stepping into the kind of tension that I wanted to step into. I wasn't living the kind of life that I wanted to live. And so after realizing that, I started to really take Brian's teachings way more serious. And I was already doing that, but I really started to take leaps. So I remember being on my Bucharest trip, my second one. I was like, when I get back to LA, I'm going to quit my job. Came back to LA, was the most terrifying thing because I had no savings, I had no backup plan. The only thing I had to my favor was that I was living with my mother and I wasn't paying rent. That was the only thing, right? I still needed money to take care of myself. I still needed money to eat. I still needed money for my car, my payment, gas, all this stuff, right? Which I did not have. I didn't know how I was going to do it. But all I know was I had this intuition to quit my job. And so Brian would always say, trust your gut feeling. So when I came back to LA, I quit my job. All I wanted to do in that period of time after I quit my job was I wanted to go out and approach and get better with women because I was getting so good at it, meaning that I was starting to have results. I was starting to get a lot of dates. I was starting to have a lot of physical contact with women. Things were moving really fast, and I just wanted to double down on it and make sure I could really, really, really get it in right in that period of time. So I did. So for 2 weeks straight, I just went out every day and I approached. Actually, I went out probably a month straight. So it got to a point where not having the money was really starting to take a toll on me. Like I had to sell my car that I was making payments on. Had to get a cheaper car as a result, and I just kind of didn't know I was going to make it. But I just knew that because I was following my gut instinct to quit my job and go do this thing, that something had to show up, right? And I didn't know what it was, but I was just keeping course with what I said I was going to do. I was going out every day. I was getting better with approaching. I was loving it. Things were getting better. And all of a sudden, out of the blue one day, Brian was like, hey, I want to have a meeting with you. But he was like, hey, we were thinking about hiring on some coaches, and you guys have really been taken to the work really consistently. Do you guys want to be coaches with us? And I remember thinking like, man, I don't think I can coach anybody, right? But he was like, you're already doing so well because you've done this, this, and this, and this, and this, so you obviously get it. And it's true, right? I was taking leaps and bounds, and I was growing so fast. And I was like, sure, I'll do it then. So at the end of that year, I became a coach. So things just started to work out because I chose that. Now, did I think that was going to happen? Did I even have an idea that I wanted to be a coach? No, not really, right? But it just kind of happened like that because I made that choice. So if you guys are somewhere in your lives where you are not stepping into tension because of fear, because you're uncertain, because you don't know what the outcome of it's going to be, but you got this gut feeling that you should be taking a risk in a certain area, doing a certain thing, maybe working with somebody who's going to help you get to the next level, right? But you're just like, I can't spend that money on that, I can't do that. Pause, take the risk, and realize that the universe is always going to meet you halfway. God is always going to meet you halfway. Something that is going to meet you halfway because you made that choice. Nothing moves unless you take forward action. And I've got probably over 100 stories that I can probably do videos on that will really solidify and validate my point here. So I don't want to make this too long of a video, but I want you guys to get the idea that in order for you to become a person who has a life that you really want to have, that you secretly are always thinking about in the back of your head, you're going to need to step in attention. You're going to need to take action. You're going to need to step out in uncertainty. You're going to need to trust that gut feeling and that intuition and trust that things will be fine. You don't need to know the next step. You just need to move your feet. That's it. Now, again, I don't want this to be too long of a video. I just want to kind of get this out to motivate you guys to get moving in a specific area. I love you guys. I want to see you win. Now, if you're a guy who was needing some help in the dating space and you want to hop on a quick 30-minute free session call, strategy call with me, go ahead and go to my website, HighIntegrityCoaching.com. And if you go over to the coaching page, there's a place you can sign up for a free 30-minute strategy session where we can chat about where you are, where you want to get to, really get to the bottom of what it is you actually really want in your dating life. And I can absolutely help you get there. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope this video was of value to you. If it was, go ahead and post in the comments, like, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.